Welcome back to Zaku Talku. Today we'll be covering Zeta Gundam. So we'll be covering Zeta Gundam episodes 1 through 12.
That's true. That we are.
This is a fact.
Incredibly.
Indeed. Yep.
So we've already watched the compilation films of Mobile Suit Gundam, and we all enjoyed them. I can safely say that. Going into Zeta Gundam, I've heard it's very good. So I was fairly expecting about the same as the previous Gundams. What were you guys expecting? Or Mark?
So I think we have to back up a little bit and talk about when exactly this takes place compared to Mobile Suit Gundam.
It takes place about, what'd you say, 7 years after the end of the 1 Year War?
Yeah, so Zeta Gundam takes place 7 years after the 1 Year War. And what we find is a landscape that is a little odd. We have two factions, the AU and the Federation, and we have returning characters come back in various ways. And what I expected was the same as you, pretty much, that this was I've heard this was good, and I heard a lot of people like Camille. So going into this, I expected it to be better than Mobile Suit Gundam. At the end of Mobile Suit Gundam, we get more of a feeling for what a new type is, and the powers of a new type, and what their abilities are in comparison to a regular human. So I expected more new types and some cool suits. What did you expect, Jose?
Well, going into it, so going back to expectations, I see this one throughout comment sections on pretty much probably at least 30% of the Gundam videos on YouTube that I mostly watched. People really hold this one to high esteem. So just kind of remembering the name of it and just knowing how people this one has a lot of clout behind it. People really hype this one up. And just also piggybacking off of what we saw last time with the original series, I was my expectations for Zeta Gundam were actually pretty high, because the ending for Mobile Suit Gundam was good, so I definitely expected something to up the ante and just feel overall better in quality. Just kind of the basic expectations of just overall a better experience. And just with all that clout that this one gets, from tons of fans throughout, the online community and whatever community, I just even listen to at all, this one is pretty up there. So my expectations were pretty high on this one.
So I guess we're all looking forward to the series. All right, so let's go straight into our new main character, Camille. So Camille, just like Amuro, is a young man and is around 16 years old. He seems fairly distant. He seems like he has something to prove. His parents don't seem to get along. A lot of issues. He comes from a fairly broken family. His mom's never there. His dad is having an affair. So my initial thoughts on Camille, I made a small comment to our group chat that I liked him right away, because the boy is scrappy. He gets into fights and he gets hit a lot. Personality wise, I found him a lot more tolerable than Amuro was from the get go. He didn't seem as whiny, a little bit, but not as badly as Amuro was at the start. Jose, what were your thoughts, since Amuro was a fairly contentious character for you at first?
Okay, right off the bat, comparing him to the initial introduction that Amuro Ray got in the original series, Camille came off to me as a lot more mild-mannered on his first, the first moment that you see him. He's kind of just running out of class, and he's just, or whatever school that he was going to at the time. He just ran out of class. The first thing that happened, which I loved right off the bat, that the show is continuing with the freaking slap tradition. The first thing that happens to Camille is he gets slapped within 5 seconds after you see him. He gets slapped to the ground by some other random guy that I don't even remember Does he even come back? But we'll talk about that after. Point is, he gets slapped. He doesn't care. And I'm just like, whoa, this guy, he doesn't give a rat's ass. Damn. Like he's got some tolerance to him, not like Amuro, who was just like he's like ah! What was happening again? His friend Frau was like trying to rush him to like get going to evacuate, and Camille he shows a lot more chill. You know, he's just he gets slapped and he's like whatever, bye, and then you know, he just moves on with his life, and I like that. I like that he didn't waste his time with the little dumb stuff that didn't really like garner his attention so much. So right off the bat, I thought that was cool in terms of characteristics about him, and then I did like his overall design. Like, you know, I'm kind of biased when it comes to this, but his hair is green. Sometimes I see like in other like promotional arts and all that kind of stuff, I see that his hair is like kind of a blue tintish, or it might be like a turquoise kind of color. But either way, mostly I've seen it green, and I love it. He wears sweaters all the time. As a sweater guy, I gotta give the guy props. Camille, sweaters are the thing. Um, something that I thought was funny and actually kind of it was a little quirk and added to his character that I thought was silly, but it was nice. It was a nice little touch. Is that he bites his nails, or he bites his thumb at least, and his friend Fa was that her name? Fa or something?
It was Fa.
Yeah, Fa. She's just like she has to tell him to stop chewing his nails or whatever. he's just like he's like I don't care. He just does it again anyway. So I thought that was cool. In terms of like his background and his personality, well, his background, yeah, it's a little bit of a tragic home life. His mom not being there most of the time and pretty much being a workaholic. His dad, you know, he's railing some other lady, and that's really unfortunate. You know, that kind of stuff. That really resonates at home with a lot of people, and you know, a lot of viewers potentially of the show. So I thought that was something, a little character background to him that really would help people find him more endearing or more sympathetic, or be sympathetic to him and help them connect to him. So I thought that was like, in terms of adding to his character, I thought that was a little good touch, a little bit something extra other than what Amuro had. So that's already some good stuff going for Camille in terms of his character's background and whatnot. But yeah, his personality, like, I really enjoyed that. he's like a thug. He's just willing to throw hands with anybody. Like the first guy, that calls him, like they say he has a girl's name, and then he throws the gauntlet down, and he's like, "My name's Camille, and I'm gonna prove to you that I'm a man."
Camille is a perfectly good name for a guy. I'm a man, and I'll prove it.
And then he just goes in and like thug lifes it and punches this guy, and he's like getting freaking surrounded by like 6 of those guys, or I think it was like 5 or 4, but he didn't back down, and I thought that was pretty badass. So initial idea and outlook on Camille as a character, I thought he just took off really well, and I just liked him right off the bat.
Okay.
Marcos, what about you?
All right. So Jose had Amuro last season, and this season, in this season of Gundam, I do not like Camille, and I've just found out that I'm the only one that feels that way. So,
in fairness, I'm a bit more forgiving on characters than you guys are.
Well, I didn't mind Amuro at first. I kind of, I kind of got where he was coming from. He came from like a same broken home, but he didn't. I feel like he didn't lash out at others as much. He was kind of whiny, but Camille is another beast. He's whiny. He's arrogant. He has to have the last word in. He backtalks everybody. Even those that try and help him, like like his Lieutenant Quattro and Emma. He backtalks them. every word they say, he has to have a comeback, a snobby little like jab at them. And it's so infuriating to see these characters try and, resonate with him and be nice to him and understand him. And all you get back from him so far in the story, first 12 episodes, mind you, is backlash, arrogance, and he's so far out of the whole cast, he is my least favorite character. I like almost every other character, even the minor side characters, more than Camille. He's like, I'm the best. This Gundam's mine. I can pilot it better than all of you. You all suck. I know I can do it. I'm gonna steal it. He steals the Gundam like 4 times within these 12 episodes. He steals it initially when he's still on side 7.
Green Noah.
He steals it, and then he steals it again when he's on the AUG ship. And I think he steals it 2 more times while on the AUG ship to go out and do things that he doesn't have authorization to do. And he gets 0 punishment for every single time that he does that. And I don't think that adds any development to his character, that he doesn't get punished for stealing, for going behind the captain's back. And he's just completely unlikable to me at the moment, which is potentially a good thing because he has a lot of room to grow. But so far, he's completely unlikable to me personally. But sounds like you guys actually liked him, which is good because I'm the the other side, I guess, in this.
All right, so you said he was arrogant, but there's like multiple times in which he's like, oh, I'm nothing special, anybody could have done it, and all that stuff. I think there's like 4 occasions in which that happens, and he's being praised, and then
you're misreading the situation. He says that when they're trying to get him to do something. Oh, Camille, you're great. We need you to pilot the Gundam. Oh no, anyone could do it. But when they're telling him no, then he's like, I'm the best. I'm the only one who can do it. So he is definitely a whiny brat. And I liked Amuro far more than Camille at the moment. Every time he spoke, I was bracing for something that I wasn't going to like to come out of his mouth. And usually I was right.
Well, so, I can definitely agree with you on the negative aspects on him. Because, yeah, he's definitely impulsive. That's probably the thing that I probably like the least about him, is how impulsive he is. And he just jumps in, and like you use your example that he steals the Gundam several times. Yeah. And he was on a bit of a power trip on what was it? I think it was the first episode, on that he ran all the way to the base or whatever, and I didn't even know what the hell he was doing, but he went all the way over there. I didn't know what he was planning. He got in the Mark II, stole it from that person, and then he sees the guy that was bullying him, and then he goes up to him with the freaking Gundam, and he
starts shooting at him.
Yeah, he shoots at him, and then he gets all up on him,
and
he's
that's what I'm saying. like he does things that would get you sent to jail for life for treason. And nothing happens to him at all.
Yeah, it was just a big old power trip that he had right there.
Yeah. And Bright Noah just looks at him and is like, yeah, he has potential.
He compares them a lot
more lax. Yeah, he's a lot more lax about everything now.
So that's... Yeah, okay. So that's Camille, I guess.
Yep. So as both of you guys have pointed out, he is the pilot of the Gundam Mark II. So this time around, away with the RX-78, we've got the new Gundam Mark II that was actually helped created by Camille's father. Mm-hmm. So I don't know about you guys, but when the little cutaway happened in the show and the Gundam comes in, I kind of thought that was going to be like the new Gundam, like Amuro's Gundam or something like that.
Cutaway.
Like when it goes. Like when the Gundam flies in and it says Zeta Gundam, and then it flies back in to the halfway point of the episode.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was colored differently, so I assumed it was going to be like a different Gundam, but turns out it's one of the Mark IIs, which there are currently 3 units. Do you guys got anything to say about the Mark II?
Yeah, actually. So the Mark II is another iteration of the RX-78, and I don't know. They mentioned in the show that it's made of like weak material, cheap, weak material.
Yes,
So
Quattro mentions that its armor is no different than any other mobile suit.
Yeah.
yeah. So far in the series, there's I don't think it's like super superior to anything else. I mean, they mentioned that it's like it's got some good aspects to it in comparison to like some other fodder units, but nothing like amazing like the RX-78 had in comparison to the Zaku units. So so far it's not like I'm not super impressed with it. It's just kind of there. I mean, I'm more interested in the like the dynamics and everything of the characters and stuff. And whereas there was like an awe of the Gundam. Like every time Amuro got in the Gundam, you were kind of on the edge of your seat. But when Camille gets in the Gundam, it's like, oh, another space battle. It's cool, but this Gundam doesn't really offer that same kind of like awe and like, oh, it's overpowered, it's crazy. What's Amuro gonna do? I don't know. That's how I felt about it.
Jose, anything?
Um, the Mark II, to put it simply, was pretty underwhelming in my opinion. In a lot of ways, I don't feel like it does anything very much so superior compared to every other Gundam. There's two more iterations of it, of the exact same one, which, to be honest, is a little bit kind of bugs me just a little bit because it makes it all the less special.
Yeah, there's multiple pilots, which is also another thing that makes it kind of less special. Like anyone can get in it.
The only thing that I appreciate about that whole thing is that it gives more leeway for Camille to actually be able to show his new type senses and new type superiority, if he is a new type, that is.
Oh, he definitely is.
We've been getting glimpses here and there. Well, everybody's almost calling him one too.
Yeah, everybody's basically calling him one. The only reason that I said that was just because I don't think I've outwardly heard them say 100% sure, oh, he is a new type. Everybody just says he's like a new type. He's like Amuro. He's acts like a new type. He thinks like a new type. He has
psychic abilities.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah. Very good point. He is a new type.
Yeah.
But that being the case, I feel like it kind of gives leeway because the Gundam is not going to carry him through everything in the same way that. Not to say that Amuro was carried by everything, because he was like shown to be, proficient in using other mobile suits and all that kind of stuff. But in the same vein, I think that it gives leeway for Camille to be able to show off his new type abilities and something, just by himself naturally and not be carried by the Gundam essentially. But in terms of just the Gundam itself, yeah, it was pretty underwhelming. It's not very special in my opinion. It didn't do anything particularly different from the original, and every other Gundam seems to at least be somewhat able to. Every other mobile suit seems to be either on par with it or pretty much just below it, but still pretty much being on par with it. So overall, the Gundam Mark II itself to me was very underwhelming.
There was a cool scene though that was very brief and only occurred I think twice so far, but it's where Camille's talking to the engineer and he's making another Gundam, and it's kind of obvious because he's like, the engineer refers to his project as the Zeta, like the Zeta project, or calls it the Zeta Gundam or something. And it's cool to see it being constructed because you see
so early on.
Well, no, like we're 12 episodes in and he still doesn't have the titular Gundam. But he's definitely making it, and you can tell because he's adding things to the Mark II that other Gundams don't have. So he's like slowly creating it. Like we see the
Wave Rider.
Yeah, the Wave Rider attachment that turns it into kind of like a plane-ish thing, and then he can fly on it. Which which actually has a purpose, which is cool too. Like re-entry makes re-entry easier, and we see Camille making he's making the Zeta Gundam, which is cool.
He's actively taking part of the process in making his own Gundam. I thought that was really cool. I remember that. I thought that was pretty damn cool in terms of just giving a little bit more extra cred to Camille's character and how proactive he is.
Yep.
Oh,
Priscilla, did you have any thoughts on the Zeta? Or not the Zeta, the Mark II?
Well, same as Jose. It was fairly underwhelming. For being a Mark II, it almost seems like a downgrade because it's not made out of the same materials. So it's less durable, it's weaker in that sense. Although it does have better capabilities. As inside the Mark II, there is a panoramic viewfinder instead of whatever the original one had.
Just like a camera, I think, right?
Yeah.
Just like a regular camera. Yeah, I remember them mentioning that too. I forgot. Does he have 360-degree view in there again, or no?
Yeah, he does. I think it's also the only mobile suit that does have 360.
Are you sure? Because
there was another one.
When his dad jumps in the Rick Diaz, he's like, "Wow, this view is incredible."
Yeah,
I think the Rick Diaz is the one with the 360 degree.
Oh, was it? No, I might have gotten confused then.
Yeah. Speaking of the Rick Diaz.
All right. Before that, let's get into the AUG. So the AUG is, as Mark mentioned earlier, is a new faction made up of the Zeon remnants. It stands for the Anti-Earth Union Group.
Wait, actually, I think it's not part of the Zeon remnants. There's 3 factions. There's the Federation, the Zeon remnants, which we're not really introduced to yet. We just hear about it. And then the
Are you gonna count the Titans?
The AUG. The Titans are part of the Federation. But
okay, that's what I thought.
But Quattro says Haman is coming of age. We might be seeing the Zeon or the remnants of Zeon come forward soon, or something like that. In one of the episodes, I remember him saying that. It was very brief, and it was only like a short mention, but he said that.
So Zeon's ghost has come out of its grave. Haman Khan must be about 20 years old now.
But he does say that, which is interesting, because I thought the AUG was part of the Zeon just because of a certain character, but
which we'll be getting to quite shortly.
But I don't think that it actually is, based on what he said there.
Well, back when Camille was in the jail, one of the jailers mentioned that the AUG was made up of Zeon remnants. So that's what I was going off of.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or they were following Zeon principles or something like that. But with that, let's get into that character. So Quattro Bagina, very, very unfortunate name.
Oh, it's Bagina?
Yes.
Okay. See, okay, I didn't even know how to spell his name, and I didn't look it up, so I literally spelled it like vagina, because I was thinking about it like in Spanish. Vagina.
Vagina. So we're not going to pretend, right? They do straight out mention that this is Char as
he like him, he acts like him.
He's 100% Char. The first thing he says is like
he asks if that's
about Amuro and Lala. Amuro? Is that Amuro? Is that Lala? Okay, who else could it be? It's definitely a blonde-haired guy that covers his eyes who's mentioning Amuro and Lala. He's Char.
Although
at this point, I'd be surprised if he wasn't. But
he also has a scar from when Amuro stabbed him with a sword.
You know what? I didn't even notice that.
I didn't either.
It's an animation error. Sometimes they don't show it. But anyways, so Char lived after the end of Mobile Suit Gundam.
He did.
Indeed.
So this time around, he goes by Lieutenant Quattro Vagina, as I mentioned earlier. He just like in the original Mobile Suit Gundam, we see him along with 2 others entering onto Bright Noah to just look around, scan around. There where they find the Mark IIs, and their mission is to steal them, in which Camille helps them.
Yeah, he does.
So this time around, instead of being a rival, Char is basically Camille's mentor, more or less. So one of the things that I found interesting is that while they mentioned that he fights like the Red Comet, he seems to not be that good anymore. Or it could just be like the newer pilots are just better or the suits are better. So what do you guys think of Quattro?
I thought that his personality has shifted immensely from from Gundam, mostly Gundam. He's much calmer. He's not antagonistic. He's very tactical. I mean, he was tactical in Mobile Suit Gundam. That's what he was kind of known for. But in this, he's very collected, and he's a different character, kind of. So yeah, him mentoring Camille, he's like understanding of the situation. He never like lashes out against them, even though he's like Camille backtalks him all the time. He never like lashes out, and he kind of just wants Camille to like go at his own pace and be a good soldier. So I'm kind of interested in how he's going to be in the future. Like if this is a facade. So far it doesn't seem like it is, but just the way he's portrayed in these first 12 episodes kind of makes me wonder if he's gonna, if a flip's gonna switch or switch is, yeah, whatever. I don't know what else. You know what I was trying to say, but it's just interesting to see him this calm, collected. He seems to actually have a goal. Like he wants the AU to succeed and kind of getting some freedom for the space noids from the Federation, and because he always hated the Xeon, the group, the Principality.
The Zombie family specifically, though.
Yeah, but he always lived by his father's principles, and he seems to be carrying that on now. Whereas, like, the Titans want only humans that aren't new types to succeed. Char kind of wants everyone to live in peace and with the new types and normal people. So far, I'm on board with him. He's a great character.
Jose, what about you?
Well, first thing I noticed was that he wasn't voiced by Steve Bloom. But
that's only because we watched the bad Mobile Suit Gundam compilation movie done.
Yeah. But honestly, other than that, I think I really like him. I thought it was really cool how they pretty much like flip the script and you're like with him, at least in the first 12 episodes. Based on that, you're with him constantly. He's always trying to like share his wisdom with Camille and try to help him out and just everybody really. He's really dependable and pretty much everything that Mark said. Quick question. Do you guys actually feel like he's not as good? Because I don't know. I couldn't really feel like I could say that he doesn't seem like he's as good as he was, but like
I feel like he's not trying.
I think, yeah, I feel like, yeah, I felt like he was, because they send him out all the time and rely on him heavily to like bail them out or like to be spearheading pretty much everything that they do. So I don't know. I got the feel that he was like their ace and is their ace.
I think we have to look at this from the perspective of, in Mobile Suit Gundam, the Xeon Principality of Xeon was always on the offensive, and in this, he's always on the defensive so far. Like they're being chased, and he's on the defensive, so he's trying to just go in, do a little bit of damage to stop them from following them, and then kind of pull back. Whereas
like a tactical retreat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Mobile Suit Gundam, he was on a full frontal assault every single time. And that's why he was I feel like that's the reason why you might think he's, maybe not as good. Because he's not really trying to attack them. He's trying to get away from them.
Yeah. And being like, I don't know, just being that how they depend on him so heavily. I just felt like, he pretty much lives up to always having been the Red Comet and still all this Red Comet talk and how he's so well renowned. I feel like he still pretty much lives up to everything. But I don't know. I was just kind of curious at why you guys, or why Garcelle at least probably thought that he's not as skilled. But I mean, that's a pretty good explanation, Mark. So
Yeah, I actually didn't even consider that. He is still trying to hide that he is Char, so
Yeah, well,
it's
to
awesome.
certain people, because
Oh, the
there's
most people.
definitely, well, I feel like definitely most of the head of the ship they're on know that it's Char, and that when he goes into to meet like a group of, it looks like donors, they all know that he's Char. Kind of like, doesn't that one guy walk in and say, "You'll always be Char as the
That's
wolf in
true.
me"?
yeah, I feel like he's just the only person that I saw him really actively push away, or like not even really push away because he didn't do anything, but he just kind of listened in, I think Emma was starting to kind of like think that he was Shar, or that she had talked to him before, because Camille put that, that idea in his mind when talking about certain things, or in her mind, sorry. But and then he didn't seem, he was like reluctant to even say anything. He didn't even say anything. So he just didn't seem like he was gonna go out of his way to go tell her, "Hey, I'm Shar Aznavour." So so
Yeah,
maybe she'll find out and he still won't care, but right now he just kind of like, he's not in a hurry to be telling anybody. So
yeah,
I thought that was funny. But I thought something that I thought was really cool in seeing him and us knowing what had happened in, the Mobile Suit Gundam series. I thought it was really cool seeing him interact with other characters and be so friendly with them and amicable,
yeah. That's
and
why I said that he's.
respectful. Yeah, it was like everybody grew up. Everybody that the years have passed by with, they all like grew up, and I thought that was really cool seeing him mature. I mean, not that he wasn't mature already; he was definitely mature before, and we saw it like when he had the confrontation on the road with, the former
Glover Law.
protagonist. Yeah. Um, but it was just really cool seeing him interact with other, the OGs I didn't see that coming. Like, can we just say it was okay? Yeah, when he was like talking to Bright, I was like, yo, they're
Yeah,
getting along so friendly. It was really cool. It was just really cool.
yeah. You kind of see that he didn't have any allegiance to the Principality of Xeon when he's interacting with these characters. You see that he has always been sticking to his own principles, or at least maybe what Salem Moss had said to him at the end of Mobile Suit Gundam got to him, where it's like she couldn't even recognize him, and like these aren't his beliefs and principles, and he's revenge isn't the way and stuff. And it seems like it
Mhm.
got through his head, and now he's interacting with these people, and he knows who they are, but
Yeah.
he's changed and kind of is sticking to his original, like his father's ideals, where, and he knows that these people like aren't necessarily his enemies anymore, so why hate them?
Mhm. So
Right.
that was really cool to see.
It's always nice to see returning characters just
Mhm.
being more mature. So this time around, he pilots the Rick Diaz and also the Hyakushiki. So the Rick Diaz is just a funny name to me.
It's an upgraded version of the Rick Dom from Mobile
The
Suit
Rick.
Gundam.
Did we see that one?
Yes, we did. It was in the final battle. It was that
Also,
dark
just
colored mobile suit, the black kind of one with the mono eye and the kind of triangle head or square head. It was in the
I
final battle
think
when
I
there
know
was a
which one
ton.
you're talking about.
Yeah, there was a
It's
bunch of
definitely
them.
vaguely.
not the one with no legs, right?
No, it's not Zeong. It was
Okay.
there was a bunch of them. They were like fodder units in the final battle.
Okay, yeah.
so I personally don't have anything to really say about the Rick Diaz. The Hyakushiki though, I where did it come from? I don't recall them mentioning that they had it. It kind of
No,
just popped up for me.
and this is what I actually, was thinking about this earlier. We kind of see, so the company in this is Anaheim Electronics, who's making all of these suits, and we kind of see that they're like war profiteers, I guess you could say, because they're producing suits for both sides, and we see that with them giving the Hyakushiki and the some other suits to the Ayug, and then also turning around and giving, what were they called, the Masalas or something, the red
The
Zakus,
mobile armors. Oh no,
the
those
red
were The
Masai? I don't remember.
Hyzaks or the Kobaltis.
Well, okay, yeah, those. They were given those to the Federation. So they're just they're playing both sides. So and I also wanted to say that you kind of notice here that Zaku's had less to do with Zeon as like a whole, like a concept, and more to do with the fact that Zeon was on maybe limited resources or compared to the Federation, and they got the Zaku's and the Federation got the gyms, because we see the Titans get Zaku's in this, and the AU get the other suits.
Oh, there you got anything on the Hyakushiki?
I'm not gonna lie, I straight up don't remember them.
The Hyakushiki is the gold plated, which they actually gave a reason for it being gold plated, which was kind of cool.
What was the reason?
Mine's saying because I didn't hear.
Yeah, it has like it's like a reflective material so it doesn't get as damaged from beams.
Oh,
really?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that make it better than the Mark II now.
That.
I think it is better. I think it's better than the Mark II, honestly.
It's also being piloted by Char, so.
Yeah, I was actually playing the Maxi Boost on, and
Oh, dude, I love it in Maxi Boost.
And I saw it, and I clicked on the description, and it said that the character on the shoulders is, I think, the character for 100, because the creators of the suit wanted nothing to be better than it for 100 years.
That's pretty cool.
Because they thought it was that OP.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't. Yeah, other than just seeing it, I was like, oh, it seemed good. It seemed like a reliable mobile suit. So
he hasn't really done anything with
it. Wait, that's what he piloted in the beginning? When the first episode of the beginning, like when they're helping.
No, he was piloting the Rick Diaz at the beginning. That's the red one, and then
okay.
And then he got the gold one when they went to go meet with Anaheim Electronics.
So which one was the one that Camille's dad tried to hijack?
That was the Rick Diaz.
The red Rick Diaz.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It is nice to see that Char still has an affinity for red.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he def does.
Too bad he can't paint the Hyakushiki red.
I like it better gold. So Jose, you mentioned her earlier when we were talking about Quattro. So let's go ahead and talk about the newest member of the AU, Emma. So we first see Emma originally when Camille is hijacking the Mark II. So she's a pilot for the Titans, which we will get to later. So Emma seems to be a bit more on the what's the word? Firm, but I didn't really get a lot of new type vibes from her. I meant more like personality. She seems to be like straightforward and noble in a sense. Considering who she's working with at the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So after a few incidents, she decides to join the AU and becomes one of their main pilots, usually piloting a Rick Diaz or a
Mark II.
One of the Mark IIs. So what do you guys think about her? Or Jose, let's start with you, since she's one of the main proprietors of slapping Camille.
First off, she gets bonus points for slapping Camille and slapping anybody really. And then second off, I really liked her. Like, first impressions, I thought she came off as a for lack of a better phrase, a teacher's pet. Just kind of being ready, like at the ready, and oh sir, yes sir, and all that kind of stuff. She just seemed like very dedicated to her work. And seeing all of that basically kind of ripped away from her throughout the time that it takes her from going from her transition to the Titans to the AU, I think it was a really good transition. There's a lot there. She does a fair amount of growing herself in that short amount of time, and grows her character significantly in that portion, and she comes to be being well respected by everybody, and her skills are definitely recognized by everybody else. Not that she's like some OP, new type beast pilot, but she's definitely a good reliable pilot. and even the captain and all that stuff from the AU or their higher ups, their leads and all that. They like recognized her tenacity, her talents, and her willingness basically to do what's right, or at least from that side, and how we honestly interpret what's right. People not being evil, but I really like the character. I really appreciated her, and I'm looking forward to whatever comes with her. She's really sympathetic, really nice, and just an all around likable character, honestly. And
She
she clapped
does
Camille, so that was cool.
she does start kind of acting like an older sister towards Camille near the
Yeah.
last few episodes, but the last few episodes of these parts.
I thought that Camille was gonna try to get at her at a point, like, because it seemed like he's like, why are you with them? And I thought he was like trying to compliment her and slowly like make her like a love interest. No, then reality kind of slaps you, and she's like, no, I was chilling with my girlfriend, and
Oh yeah.
and then so and so happened, and yeah, that's how we ended up here and all this stuff. I was just like, okay, no, nothing's gonna happen there, Camille. But I do really like the relationship. Like you said, they do have a very brother and sister relationship by the end of it, and they just have really good like camaraderie, and she kind of keeps them in line.
Marcos, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I liked her. From the beginning, you could kind of tell that she was gonna flip sides when the Titans are all beating up Noah, and she kind of just stands there like she knows she wants to help, but she can't because if she does, she'll get beat up as well probably. And so I kind of saw her as switching sides, and then she comes into the AU ship and everyone's nice to her and everyone's nice to Camille, and she sees that and she realizes, this is a better place for me because they're more accepting of, and they kind of have the same values that I do, which is the opposite of where she was. And yeah, she has a good dynamic with Camille. It's kind of like a naggy older sister to Camille's younger, annoying, back-talking brother kind of attitude. And I think she's, keeping him in check and being that, because Quattro's real passive towards him and, kind of just letting him do whatever he wants. But Emma's there to keep him in check and be that, like the kind of like a bad cop, I guess. Whereas Quattro is kind of like the, I'll just let you do whatever you want. She's there to slap him when he does something that he shouldn't be doing or backtalk somebody. And she gives him a lot of pep talks. And I was like rooting for her every time she was like, Camille, you need to grow up and you need to stop acting like this. And I was like, yes, he does. But overall, yeah, she's a good character so far. And I hope she doesn't become like a weak side character. I hope she stays, strong and really important character like she is now.
Yeah.
Right. It's a good female character. I like her.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into the other female character on. So Rakoa, she's I don't know her rank on the ship.
Yeah, you don't really get much about her.
No, but she seems very, very trusted by Quattro
and respected. Yeah.
Yeah, because she gets sent on a solo mission towards Jabro.
Yeah, was it like a scouting mission she was supposed to go on?
Yeah, she's supposed to like infiltrate them and report what she found and all that kind of stuff. I think to like double check that they're like the headquarters for the Titans and the Federation or something like that. And then she was supposed to like let them know and all this stuff, the deets basically, but things happened.
She ends up getting captured and then rescue mission.
Yep.
But so I don't know if you guys like noticed, but maybe it's because of Amuro crushing on Matilda so easily. I thought Camille might have had something there.
Oh yes, I
thought
was
too.
Waiting for.
Yeah, okay. So
he like runs to her and is trying to, why are you going? Where are you going and stuff. And
yeah,
I'm like, really?
Camille shooting his shot again. So
yeah, but she's like, she seems more like Char's age than, and that was kind of weird.
Funny enough, I actually ranked her in prettiest character in Zeta so far.
No, Amuro did kind of the same thing where, Frau was definitely into him, and he was like, nope, I like the older women. And then same thing with Camille. He's like, the Faw's like, kind of, has something, for him. Seems like, and he's like, nope, and Faw seems jealous of Emma, which is weird. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of an interesting comparison between the two, that they both can't have that.
Also, on a quick side note, one of the reasons we haven't mentioned Fa at all, aside from passing, is because she's not really in these episodes.
No, she comes in towards the end.
She shows up like I wrote it down, I think. She shows up not until like episode 12 or 13 again.
Yeah,
episode 12. Yep. I mean, not 12, 10.
Yeah, towards the end but she's barely in it at all.
Yeah.
She kind of just appears and tries to be helpful, but
which is funny. She's like in the credits.
Yeah,
it's funny in itself.
I thought she wasn't gonna come back, and I was like, wait, she's in the credits. She has to come back.
Well, she'll probably play a bigger role sooner or later, maybe, or maybe she'll be regulated to Frau Bo, just be there.
Man, Frau got done dirty, in my opinion, but.
Well, so we'll get back to the Jobro mission. So let's go ahead and get into the other faction Marcos mentioned earlier, the Titans. So the Titans are a new branch within the Federation, and well, they're assholes.
Oh yeah.
To put it simply, yeah.
So this is honestly weird. The Federation was basically the heroes in the previous series. Now the Titans are basically running them, and they're assholes. They're basically the bad guys.
Can I interject here? Because the Federation wasn't the good guys. The White Base was the good guys. The Federation were still kind of, they were rude, and they were not giving them supplies, and they're just kind of sending them out to the wolves for no reason. And so I didn't see the Federation as really that good of people. But it's still kind of, in most TV shows, you'd have the good side and the bad side. But in this case, the Federation.
Yeah, it's a matter of just kind of defaulting them by association. It was like, they're the ones that back the heroes, which are, that we follow on White Base. And
so it is easy to just assume.
So, I feel like that's probably why that would happen. But, I mean, you're right that they kind of just relied on them anyway and sent them into the meat grinder all the time. So, but, yeah.
Right, so back to the Titans. They're made up of a bunch of, what are they called? Earthnoids in this?
Yeah. Yes, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So they're mostly made of Earthnoids, and their whole mission is to basically squash out any remaining Zeon forces.
Well, that's their on-paper mission.
On paper. There does seem to be a bit more to them. We'll probably find out later. Anyways. So one of the first Titans that we meet is a guy by the name of Jared. Does anybody want to take Jared first?
All right, Jared from Subway, I got this. First off, Jared's personality, he came off as a jerk. He's a freaking jackass. He's like making fun of Camille right off the bat because of his name. He's like, Camille, that's a girl's name. And he was like trying to hit on Camille also at first or something. Who was he trying to? He was trying to hit on somebody. But then he heard Camille, and then he found out that was a dude, and he started laughing at him. And then he held himself on such a high pedestal because, we're the Titans, and, nobody strikes the Titans. And he basically just leads them into bullying Camille and kicking the crap out of him. And so he was just a jerk right off the bat. And then he's just like trying to make moves on all the ladies like some kind of misogynist. And expecting that he's gonna score or something, which I'm glad that there's another character that just kind of puts him in his place and just, in some ways improves his character by making him somewhat change his outlook, but Oh yeah, which is perfect because that's who we're supposed to be talking about in terms of his personality and his whole shtick with Layla, which Layla is the one that slaps him around and puts him in his place and kind of starts to humble him and change his perspective on a lot of things. But not, I mean, not completely because he's still kind of a jerk and he's pretty much just sets out on a revenge quest after the things that happened to Layla and who was it? Kakrikon or something? Or no, it was another guy.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for you to say
I was gonna wait for that until the end for like the open discussion, but quick tangent. There's a guy named Kakrikon. I couldn't not laugh at that. I like put that in bold in my notes. I was laughing at it for a good 6 minutes. I just wow, Kakrikon. Anyway, yeah. Then that's pretty much the bulk of what I wanted to say about him. What else was it? Talking about the Galbaldi or the Hyzak?
Those are just the
suits that he wears.
pilots.
Or pilots. Wears.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Jared, yeah, he's a character. He kind of reminded me of that other guy from Mobile Suit Gundam, the one that was like trying to make moves at Mirai, and that like slapped her. Yeah, he reminded me of that guy. Just like kind of a slight worse version. No, I'd say they're pretty much just as bad. The only reason that the other guy was probably more heroic in a sense is because he was helping the heroes essentially. You know, he was considered good, but he was still kind of a trick. So, but yeah, that's my shtick on him. Mark?
I could surmise Jared's whole, or how I felt about Jared in one sentence that I wrote in my notes. And all it says is, Jared is a turd. That's kind of how I felt about him.
He's a steaming load. He's crap. Oh, sorry. Continue, Mark.
Jared, he was completely unlikable until Lila kind of came in there, and then started to shift him a little bit, which was, I mean, you could see that he had some emotions, and he wasn't just like a total brute. He was kind of being put into perspective a little bit, that he like wasn't the best, and someone like Lila could be better than him, and she wasn't an elite soldier or anything. She was just a normal soldier, and when she died, it kind of halted that growth and made Camille the target, because Camille's the one that killed her, of all of his rage and anger, and that he was previously like a brute. Camille was now the complete and total focus of that. But he also killed Camille's mom, which we didn't talk about earlier, but he didn't know though. So I don't know if he would have done it if he knew, but that she was in a capsule that he shot.
He thought it was a bomb. Jared
he was really sympathetic after.
Well,
he was pretty sympathetic about it.
Really?
He wasn't?
Well, I mean, not super, but I mean, he just like was like, "Oh, I wouldn't have done it if had I known." And he's just, yeah.
He kind of mocked Camille.
I'm pretty sure he mocked him. I'm pretty sure he did.
Him. Yeah, he definitely mocked him. So that kind of made his character even worse. Like for a split second, he was kind of like, "Oh man, what did I do?" But then right after, immediately, he's just like, "I'm sorry, your mom died." And like,
oh yeah,
yeah. So yeah, and I don't really like him right now. I don't think you're supposed to like him right now.
I still don't like him.
Yeah,
either.
And then and Capricorn dies too, because he gets freaking the Gundam treatment where he just
in the air, right?
In the air.
Yeah. Dude, Camille had no chill there. He's like, "You shouldn't have," and then he just has no mercy. Oh,
you should have came for me. You would have lived. Yeah. So that was the Titans are not good people at all.
Definitely not.
General gist of it. The Hyzak, his suit, the Hyzak is just he's like she says Zaku. It looks like it's a bulky.
It's different.
It's a bulkier Zaku. I like how it has the spikes on the shoulder, and they use them. Like I think one of the Titan pilots like rammed one of the AU guys with the shoulder spikes. That was kind of cool. That it was like, oh, okay, well they have a purpose. In the close quarters combat. One thing I would like to say is that the way that they animate the beam saber coming out of the back is super cool to me.
Oh yes, it is.
Like when they activate it and it kind of juts out a little bit, and then just reach back and grab it. I love seeing it every time.
So something we haven't really mentioned is that Jared is the reason all of this started. He's the one who was piloting the original Mark II and crashed into the jail which Camille was currently being held at, and is also the same Mark II that Camille steals.
Yep. Number 3. And the leader of the Titans,
Commander Bask.
Yeah, he's even worse than Jared.
Even worse.
Yeah, he's even worse than Jared.
So one of the main things I want to talk about with Bask is the Colony 30 incident. So do you guys remember what that was?
Yeah,
that's when they gassed them, right? They gassed the colony.
Kind of a bit of a parallel with a few things that have been recently happening.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't see a lot of Bask. We get talked about. He gets talked about a lot though. War crimes and all that jazz. What do you guys? Instead of asking like, what do you guys think of him? What are you guys expecting coming from him?
He looks like what's his name? He looks like the Zabi guy, the main, the dad, kind of.
Egwin or something like that.
Whatever his first name is, yeah. But he kind of looks like him with those little glasses and stuff. And the hat. I don't know. What am I expecting from him? I'm expecting him to kind of just sit there and eventually just die and go sitting in the chair. Because he doesn't just pilot anything. Yeah, he doesn't pilot anything so far. Unless he gets into something, that'd be kind of cool. But, so we see that he's pretty ruthless and he doesn't care. And he'll just get rid of an entire colony for kind of no reason, I guess.
Well, they were protesting. I guess they didn't like.
Yeah, but
is that really a reason?
Oh,
I mean, they weren't
military will find a way.
Doing anything. Yeah, I don't know. He's a
bastard.
He's just a big scumbag. Like, here's what I'll say right off the bat: the day he falls is gonna be, it's gonna be very satisfying, just to see him like get taken down a peg. Just because I feel like he hasn't even shown any kind of like level of being shook. He just kind of shakes everything off like he doesn't care, and just do horrible things just without a care. And I don't know. It's, if anything that's good that's coming from him, hopefully, is that he bites the dust in a very satisfying way.
Okay. So we brought him up. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna mention one other character. It's his name is escaping me right now. We see him only a little bit, and I think he's gonna be a thorn in the Titan side. It's the purple-haired guy from Jupiter who pilots.
Oh, the guy that's piloting the Masala.
Yes, he seems like an elitist, and he seems maybe like even more ruthless than Bask. I don't know. I just get that vibe from him.
I get the feeling he might be the one that kills him.
Speaking of elitists, that's something that I kind of noticed about the Titans overall, was that they're very elitist. They're like, oh, you think anybody from that's not an Earthnoid would ever join us or something like that?
But the Jupiter guy's a space noid.
Yeah,
I remember his name. His name is His name is Paptimus.
Really?
Yeah. He's a.
Well, we had a quick fight scene with him, but let's see what's gonna happen with him later on.
Yeah, he was like just destroying them. So, they've got to upgrade their tech or do something to be able to compete with that Masala, because it can like transform and fly away real quick and then come back and
And same episode where he appeared, it seems that there are a lot more Masalas available than just the one.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in seeing it. Maybe I hope we go to Jupiter because that'd be kind of cool to do that, but I don't know if we will.
I do like the transforming aspects of these new suits, though.
It's turning into Transformers.
I'm gonna go with Macross, but
You got Starscream.
And Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime. Cac Recon.
I just wonder what other names we're gonna find later on. Right, so we've brought him up. We brought him up a few times. So Noah is one of the first original cast members that we see, and he's not having a very fun time.
No, you would think they treat someone who did so well and did so much for them, basically stopped Zeon from taking over, would be treated with a little more respect than Bright Noah is treated in Zeta Gundam.
You would
a
think
lot
he'd
more.
You would think he'd also be a higher rank. I'm pretty sure they called him a lieutenant.
They called him
Yeah.
Commander, didn't they?
Did
Oh
they?
well. I just remember at the very beginning when Camille is fanboying, and by the way, Camille stands Bright Noah. So
Yo, he
that
got
was
his
kind of
autograph.
yeah. He's all hyped up. He's like, I got his autograph before. Even when he meets him, he's like, yeah, you gave me your autograph way back when. And Bright Noah was pretty chill about it. He was, but beside that, I just remember that Camille said that he's Commander Bright Noah, former what is it? He just mentioned that he used to be big when he was in charge of White Base.
Yeah, but he's not in charge anymore, and the one of the first things we see is him getting pummeled to the ground by the Titan.
The disrespect was real.
You gotta feel bad for the guy.
They did not care at all about him, and then we see him walk back into the room with the mask, and he's like, "Oh!" And they're like, "Something wrong?" And he's like, "No." Like groveling.
He gets slapped by other guy. He's like, how dare you? I'm a higher rank than you. I'm your superior. And the guy's just like, oh, I don't care. And then he just proceeds to practice on him like a punching bag. And then they start throwing in some kicks.
And they explain it too. They're like, yeah, the Titans are like, whatever your rank is, add one to it, and that's us. And it's like, okay.
Which is weird considering they're a brand new branch of the Federation.
Yeah, they seem like more like contractors than an actual. I mean, that's what they come off as, right? They don't follow any of the rules. They kind of do whatever they want, and they seem more like they're contracted than actual part of the Federation.
Yeah, I mean, they have no respect for it. They have, I mean, from Basque, their highest ranking, he just doesn't even seem to care anything about the Federation or wanting to help its cause or anything like that. He's just kind of on his own, he's on a crusade for his own cause.
Yeah, and you can tell he doesn't have any convictions either because he lets a guy from Jupiter join them. His whole anti-space noid thing's kind of not holding true. But back to Bright, he comes in and Char defects, or Bright defects from the Federation and joins the AU as the captain again.
Which goes to show that the Titans are not fun.
No. Oh, and we find out
he bagged in
fact.
Mirai.
Yeah, he got with Mirai and has 2 kids now.
Well, in fairness, we don't actually know that yet.
He says it. He says
he?
that they're married and that they have 2 kids.
I just heard that he had a wife. I didn't think he.
No.
Did he mention the
he
name?
says.
He says,
yeah. Hey,
he's like, don't worry about my wife. She's basically a new type.
She was on the ship. Her name was Mirai, and it's like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, I must have skipped up.
She was the helmswoman of the White Base.
Yeah, I was like, kind of cheering in my head. I was like, yeah, he did it.
I was like, good. He freaking bagged her after she.
After Slager died.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of what we expected, or what we were hoping for when we were watching.
Yeah. I didn't actually think it was gonna happen. I didn't know that was his wife.
Slager may have touched base with the lips, but he didn't lay down the pipe. So
Oh my god.
in the end,
So,
who
yeah.
won?
And we see
With
Char
two
using some, like,
children.
weird new type ability to sense what the gender of his children, the sex of his two children.
Right, he just
Yeah, that was
just,
random.
When he said that, I'm like, he better follow up with something because that's really weird if he just says that. And then he did.
He's just like, oh, it's just, in luck or something like that, right?
lucky guess.
Lucky guess, yeah, that's what it
Just
was.
randomly like, it's nice that you have a good boy and girl. And he's like, I'm like, what?
Dude, I thought I was like, yo, you stuck in this guy?
I kind of would have thought that, yeah, he probably looked them up. But, hey, new types are weird. Maybe they do have some mind-reading ability. So just like Jose mentioned with Char not being voiced by Steve Bloom, Bright Noah not having an English accent was kind of off-putting at first.
That threw me off.
But I did think the voice was fitting enough.
Yeah, I still liked it.
Overall, I prefer these voices over the other voice, just because I know that the voice of that dub was that was horrible. The movie compilation dub was terrible, and this one is so much better.
From problems from when they just have their responses to how they're delivered to saying things like Shaw as Noble and Gundam, yeah. It was just all over the place.
This one they
go ahead.
I was gonna say this one they actually like. It seems like they know what they're talking about, and things are just said more fluid. But
this dub was produced around 2000, so they did have precedent with the with Wing Gundam.
Yeah, it's a lot better. The quality of the voice acting is just a lot better.
So aside from Noah, we do see a few other white base regulars. So Amuro, he kind of just shows up once. He's in his backyard, giant ass mansion. He feels
he's living the life.
Quite the life. New type power. So, slight spoilers. I have seen ahead, so I'll let you guys. What are you guys expecting out of Amuro?
I expect him to be I want him to kind of come in and kind of steal the spotlight. I know it's not going to happen, but I think it would be cool. But but that's just because I don't like Camille. But
I'm pretty on board with that. I think it'd be really cool. It'd be really a good eye opener for Camille and probably help his character grow a little bit by giving him some perspective from somebody that did come from like a very similar place. So
yeah, and I want to see him interact with Char too.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. And what do I don't even know. Do you have anything else to say, Mark?
No, I just hope he it'd be funny if he kind of came in and was like, "What is this piece of junk, Mark II?" But
piece of
I mean, there are 3. They do have currently 3 units. So
yeah, but I'm more versed in spoilers than Garcelle because I've seen a lot of things. So
I've just seen a few episodes ahead.
I've seen a few series ahead, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
That being said, when it comes to Amuro and the expectations, or what I want to see, like Mark said, I do hope that he comes in and steals the spotlight. I hope that he has even more maturity to display, or kind of more a sense of showing that he's a veteran and just kind of being all professional, showing us that hopefully he gets thrown in. I'm sure he'll get thrown in a mobile suit, and then he'll go to town. I'm looking forward to seeing that if he does. But I think anything, as long as they respect his character, coming from his series to this one, then I'll be perfectly fine with however they handle Amuro. Just as long as they respect his character. They don't treat him like Bright Noah, because Bright Noah Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm kind of okay with how they like
Dude.
kind of brought him in, but I wasn't feeling the. He was my first favorite character of the old OG Gundam, and just seeing him getting battered around and disrespected so heavily, it was just I wasn't feeling it.
Well, they did mention a couple things. The first one was that they shoved him into that location. Kind of seems like not of his own will.
Yeah.
Some of the characters mentioned that they like hid him away. And another thing is that the Titans do not, and the Federation, I guess, doesn't like new types. So I don't know if he has any respect with them because he is a new type and they did try and hide him away. But we'll see. I guess
my hope is that he finds some like camaraderie with the current crew. Like if that's, I'm just guessing if that he was to interact with them, that maybe he might find some kinship with them, since Camille's a new type, since Char is a new type, and so forth. I just it would be cool to see some camaraderie with the bond basically becoming or being like what ties them being that they're new types. So, but yeah. Anything else to add?
No.
Not to Amuro.
All right, so let's go ahead and go with the other character that we see. So Kai also shows up in Jabra of all places. Yeah, he shows up in Jabra of all places. He meets up
He
with.
doesn't look like a whiny shark anymore.
Why was he there? That's my first question.
Cause he's a journalist, dude. He goes in and
Which
he's
is
a
the
journalist.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it does. Haven't you ever seen like the news with those journalists in the middle of a war zone? Come on.
Yo, Kai's covered wars,
He's covered wars, He's on par. He's on par with Frank West. That's impressive.
It was so weird. He just randomly showed up.
Yo, he Indiana Jones of a guy with a whip, dude. That was like the coolest entrance.
Yeah, that was a good entrance. I was happy with like seeing him. He's just like, because he used to look like some kind of whiny brat, and just that kid that in class that you don't like in high school that you just hope he gets bullied or something. No, you should never hope that for anybody. But I just didn't like him at first. Like, but he just comes off like really cool in this, and very grown up. And again, he's a journalist, so he has a career going for him. He has his path. So
he does decide to help out Rakoa on her mission at Jabra.
Yeah,
which is get captured.
Speaking of which, she catches a slap.
True. This series has been
very generous with slaps.
Very.
I'm waiting to see his interaction because at the end of episode 12, he gets brought on board with Rakoa, and I want to see how he interacts with Bright.
Yeah.
I think he has more clout right now than Bright.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird that he was like a military hero. Yeah, but he was like a military hero, and now he's a random like journalist in a lab coat for some reason.
I have a white two-piece suit.
No, it looks like a lab coat to me.
See, dude, he's so overpowered. It's suspicious. He has a white suit, and he didn't even get it dirty. Isn't that impressive? What? In a jungle, I don't know, man. You gotta have good, you gotta have good stuff going for you, and if that's the case.
Yeah, but yeah, he didn't really do much so far.
Yeah, he kind of shows up once, and then he gets rescued by Camille.
He did a lot. Didn't you see when he was banging on the door, yelling for help?
It makes him feel better.
Yeah, it's cool to see him. I mean, it's cool that they're bringing them back. Like the main, the main characters that were from White Base are back.
Yeah, maybe they'll join the AU.
Yeah, which leads into Hayato also appearing for like 10 seconds.
A few seconds.
For like the very end.
Actually, I don't even think you see him. You just hear like, oh, it's a guy named Hayato, and he's telling us whatever. And then
didn't you see him for like a split second? He's like in the cockpit.
He's piloting a plane, helping the guiding
I was
the
like, yo, see, the entire time I was a little bit unsure as to like how long, because I didn't hear them state how long of a time period it's been from
7
the past
years.
series.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
I
been
didn't
7
hear that.
years.
Maybe I just missed it, but I didn't
I don't
hear
think they mentioned it.
Yeah, I didn't hear it once, and I just like I kind of had to. I felt like had to keep guessing how old or how long has passed since then. But seeing Hayato, um, I was like, okay, at least at the very least, it's been like 5 years. Seeing how like everybody's changed, and he was like a kid, basically. At least he looked like a kid. Pretty sure, yeah.
So they're
He was
probably
a
on their
kid.
like mid-20s now.
Mm-hmm.
Mid-early.
Yeah, probably around our ages, actually.
Yeah, probably maybe a little younger if Amuro was around, 14, 15.
I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
16.
Wasn't he? Oh, well, yeah.
No,
So-
yeah, they'd be a little younger either.
But yeah, it's still kind of, it's just nice to see them. And Char recognizes both of them. I don't
Did
know
he ever
how.
meet them?
No, well, I don't know.
Oh, he's a new type, man.
We watched that
He's a new
compilation.
type, dude. He's overpowered.
And we missed the cool fight with the Gyan, so we don't know what else we missed.
Dude, he knew Bright had a son and daughter. You know he knows things.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. He's just like, he's thinking. He's like, Bright Noah, Kai Shiden, and Hayato, whatever his last name is, I can't remember. At the end, when they're flying away. I wonder if Hayato hooked up with Frau.
Well, there was that one scene at the end of the movie.
Yeah, so maybe. Maybe
Yeah.
Amuro got with Sayla.
Potentially. Oh, that pretty much covers what I wanted to cover. So, any final thoughts? What are you guys expecting?
So
Right. You know a few things already.
I do, and I just want to say, all right. Well, I'll say for Zeta Gundam, so far it's been pretty good. I like the characters, except for Camille, but he has potential to grow. And I'm not going to get stuck up on the white based characters. That's what I'm going to try to do, because right now I'm really hyped for them. But I know that this is more a Camille story, and so I'm excited for that. There are you'll hear on the internet, I guess, that Camille might be a very, very powerful new type, and I want to see what comes from that. I also, there's just a lot of things that I've heard and maybe seen that are pretty cool in Zeta Gundam, and I'm really excited to see those things, and I hope they live up to my expectations, which they probably will, because Mobile Suit Gundam blew my expectations away. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
Jose, any thoughts?
So far it's been pretty enjoyable. I've liked it. I've liked Camille's character. Even like for all of his flaws, for every flaw that he has, there's something that I like about him. So I feel like he's so far he's been balanced when it comes to that to me. But when it comes to the OG characters, I'm slightly hopeful. No, or I'm kind of hoping that they're used sparingly, but at the same time to a high effect. So, like, if somebody made a sacrifice for anything or at any point, then I think that would be cool. This being a series as old as it is, and the internet existing, you hear things, like Mark said. I think that's what he said. But there's a lot of people that hold this series to high esteem. There are one of the big things is is that I hear about sacrifices and things hitting the viewer emotionally and it being very impactful. So, that being what I've heard, I'm looking forward to seeing whether, if these expectations will actually be met. So far, it's on a good path in heading towards that. But now we'll just see what comes of it, and regardless, I'll enjoy the ride for what it is. Right now, it's going good, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it, man. So
Yeah, so just like you guys, I'm looking forward to this. I do have some concerns, knowing how explosive Camille can be. I am worried as to how his interactions with Amuro could potentially go wrong. But other than that, I'm looking forward to the Zeta Gundam.
Yes, the Zeta Gundam, the
Oh,
Gundam
hopefully.
that is currently sitting in my Amazon cart for the Master
Wow.
Grade. But
Hopefully we don't have to wait too long to see it on the screen.
In episode 10, I feel like this is really random, but I just want to throw it in because, okay, in episode 9, there's a moment when Emma be spitting facts towards Camille, and she's like, "Why do you only call yourself a kid when it suits you?" I thought that was
see, that's
funny.
what I was saying.
Yeah. And then in episode 10, I think it was one of the Titans that was like, I think he was he was criticizing Char's his movements in his mobile suit. And he said, quote, "Your dust maneuver is so outdated." And then he literally gets destroyed by it.
Yeah, I thought that move was like smart. I was like, "Oh, that's super smart." And then
Yeah.
the guy's like, "That's lame." I'm like, "What?" Okay, well, I guess they already knew about it.
And then he got cacked by it.
What do you guys think is the Mega Bazooka launcher?
My God, it's so big. It's so big.
I was like, what? That's a weird name. But yeah.
Oh, there's my note. Rekala is probably the finest chick in the series.
Oh my God.
Expect no less from me, Jose. Well, anyways, this covers the first part of Zeta. Come join us again when we cover episodes 13 to 25. Was it?
I think we're gonna go 25. We're gonna stop wherever the series has a hard stop. Like in most series, there's a like climactic mid-season because this has 50 episodes, so it's usually either 24 or 25, and we'll figure that out and we'll stop there, and that will be where the second half, or the second quarter goes to.
All right. Come join us again.
See you next time on Zaku Talku.